As far as the corner spot, Kyle, obviously he's heavily involved, and he's got, we're evaluating it every day, and when Coach Shanahan is ready to pull the trigger, he'll pull the trigger. So, but as of now, it's still a work in progress.
49ers have one of the great cornerbacks of recent years on one side of the field. On the other side, they don't know who they're going to have. And, it's Richard Sherman really has tightened his grip on that defense. And, there was talk a year ago that if Jason Verrett had worked out well for the 49ers in training camp in the preseason, the 49ers may have moved on from Richard Sherman. And I don't know if he caught wind of that and that motivated him to play at a higher level. But he's really had this career rebirth. But if you only have one starting corner that you feel good about and the other one you don't, and you don't know who it's going to be, they're just going to throw to that side of the field. You got to have two guys who can play, or they're going to exploit the one guy that's viewed as a weakness. And I don't know where they're going to go, but it's something that they need to be concerned about if they want to slow down opposing offenses this year, Shireen.
Yeah, poor Jason Verrett. I mean, I watched him at TCU, and he came into the league, and he got hurt, and then his second year he made the Pro Bowl, and he looked great, just like they thought he was going to be. And then he got hurt again, and that's been the story for him. With the Chargers, he just couldn't get back on the field and couldn't return to being the guy he was. And now suddenly he has a hamstring injury again. By all accounts, he looked really good in training camp, and now he's hurt again. Who knows how long he'll be out, but the guy just can't stay on the field. He's played less than 30 games in his career, and we've kind of forgotten about who he is. But Emmanuel Moseley won that job last year and started at the end of the year, and you think that's going to be the guy. They have a lot of choices there, but I think they would love Verrett to win that job, but he just can't seem to stay healthy. So it's probably going to end up being Emmanuel Moseley starting opposite Richard Sherman, but I think it's still a big question mark for the 49ers. If I'm looking at their team, that's probably one of the question marks I have for them, and there are very few for that team.
And even though Sherman still has great instincts, and there have been stories about how he's been picking off Jimmy Garoppolo in practice, in part because he knows the offense so well because they face it all the time, he'll peel away from his receiver and grab the ball as it's heading toward the receiver someone else is covering. We saw it in the postseason. The NFC Championship game, how Davante Adams got by him, and Sammy Watkins, who said after Super Bowl 54, he studied that tape, he saw what Adams did, and that was what Watkins did to get past Richard Sherman on what ended up being a key play on the go-ahead drive. I mean, if you've got a corner that from time to time is going to get flat-out burned on a deep ball, that's a problem too, if that's your number one guy. So all the more reason for that front four. It doesn't matter who's playing corner and safety if your front four is getting to the quarterback so quickly that the quarterback has no chance to even see that there's a guy running down the field wide open. And I think that's where the strength of the 49ers defense is. And maybe that's the thing that ultimately will keep Richard Sherman or Emmanuel Moseley or Ahkello Witherspoon, K'Waun Williams, Dante Johnson, Jason Verrett, whoever's playing corner from being exposed. They have very limited time to be exposed because the front four is going to be all over the quarterback.
Boy, doesn't a great pass rush make your cornerbacks look so much better? I mean, we've seen it year after year after year with teams, and it does make a huge difference. And you don't have to have those great corners if the quarterback doesn't have much time. And that's what happens when you play the 49ers defense. You don't have much time against that pass rush. And if those pass rushers stay healthy, quarterback's not going to have much time, which makes that cornerback opposite Richard Sherman look better probably than what they are.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. And Nick Bosa, who's week to week with a lower body injury, they need him back. And when I heard week to week last week, I thought, man, he may not be available for week one or maybe beyond. Week to week is not a good sign. And without him, that's a different pass rush altogether. So even though the 49ers were one of the best teams in the NFL last year, they're back at 0-0 like everyone else, and they got to start digging. And if they've got some weaknesses, and we've seen some injuries as well, particularly at receiver. They just put Tavon Austin on IR yesterday, and they've had other receivers who are injured. And Deebo Samuel, there are questions about him. This team just may not be ready to hit the ground running the way that it did last year.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.